Fixture on Wall Street, Bernie Madoff, 70 years old, arrested by the FBI.
A $65 billion fraud, bigger than the GDP of some countries. A man who was an extremely successful investor, but still cheated. The story began on April 29, 1938, when Bernie Madoff was born in the Big Apple, the child of Jewish immigrants. He didn't really stand out when he was growing up, but he would be known for committing one of the biggest frauds in financial history. Childhood. He was average in every way but one. He was average to poor at school. He was average to poor at sport. He wasn't one of the smartest, but Madoff had a knack for making money. Working summer jobs as a lifeguard and installing sprinkler systems. This desire to make money would lead him down his future path. In Bernie's childhood, you could also see the first signs of deceiving others. For example, he once tricked the whole class into thinking he had read the book he was presenting for a book report, but he had made it all up. The teacher could not check the story because they had to choose the book themselves. It was at high school that he met his future wife, Ruth Alpern. In the mid-1950s, Bernie's father, Ralph Madoff, started investing in the stock market. We think the future con man got his fascination for shares from him. It's important to note that Ralph was investing illegally because he didn't have a license. In 1959, Bernie married his high school sweetheart, Ruth Alpern. He still seemed to be a normal, responsible adult. After high school, he went to law school in Brooklyn, but dropped out in the first year to start his first business, Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities. Unlike his father, he apparently obtained his license to be a stockbroker and also one to run a brokerage firm. He took these exams on the same day, a sign of his financial intelligence. To start his business, he took out a $50,000 loan from his father-in-law, Saul Alpern, who also provided space for Bernard L. Madoff Investment. In the beginning, he specialized in buying stocks that were too low for big companies and selling them at a huge profit. These shares were from small or new companies. Today, we know them as penny stocks. The next few months were hard for the young investor because he wanted to invest on behalf of individuals. It meant long hours, cold calls, little reward, but eventually he met Carl Shapiro. Carl was a tailor who was willing to invest $100,000. He successfully grew the $100 grant. Yet there is no sign of fraud or anything illegal. You can see a young Madoff investing, relying only on his wits and luck. Based on his first success, he hired people called feeders to find investors to bring in cash. Bernie would invest it, keep some of it, and give back the profit. Nothing illegal here, just two parties doing business. Over the next few years, the feeders brought in millions and millions of dollars. Around the 1970s, he changed the direction of his company, embracing computer technology. He also pushed the Cincinnati Stock Exchange to host a third market, getting them $250,000 to upgrade their computer system. The result of this initiative was NASDAQ. So he played a huge role in the development of NASDAQ. Can you believe a future fraud helped develop NASDAQ? Over the next 20 years, he served on the National Association of Securities Dealers, which is a self-regulatory organization. In the late 1970s, he made over $100 million, but eventually it all failed. Throughout the 1990s and into the late 2000s, he offered a 12% return rate, which is not suspicious. It was a huge success. He never seemed to fail. He was extremely charismatic and that, combined with his success, attracted huge numbers of clients. Madoff was also a donor to the Democratic Party, which added to his status in the industry. In 1999, Harry Markopolos, the chief investment officer of a trading firm called Rampart Investment Management, was asked to study Madoff's revenue stream in order to create a replica model that would lure business away from Bernie. Harry claims he realized it was a fraud within 4 minutes. It was just too good to be true because there was almost no volatility. He was convinced that the great investor Bernie Madoff was running a Ponzi scheme. So he went to the SEC, but they refused to do anything. But Harry didn't give up. In 2001, he sent a more detailed complaint to the SEC, but once again they refused to act, despite Harry's offer to go undercover. And again in 2004, an SEC lawyer launched an investigation, but it too was shut down, despite serious red flags. Side note, the senior official at the SEC was involved in a relationship with Bernie's niece, Shauna Madoff.
I'm very close with the regulators, so I'm not trying to say that they can't, that what they do is bad. As a matter of fact, my niece just married one.
In 2008, during the global economic crisis, people demanded their money back from Madoff. He was owed $7 billion, but could only pay out $300 million. On the 9th of December, he told his brother and sons about the fraud. As expected, he pleaded guilty to 11 federal crimes on the 12th of March, 2009.
If money is evil, then that building is hell. This is the most obnoxious group of money-hungry, low IQ, high energy, jackrabbit, fucking wannabe, big-time, small-time, shit-talking, bothersome, irritating bunch of motherfuckers I have ever had to endure for more than 5 minutes.